Anything else you want on video, or you want me to shut the camera off?
Just if you got a shot of the place here. I mean, out.
This is a beautiful place. I did kind of shoot a little.
The last time.
No, before I came to the door, I kind of walked over here. I was telling the tubers about that being the St. George. Although that's actually a pond. Does that pond have a name?
It is White Oak Pond.
White Oak Pond.
Which is really just a wide spot in the St. George River.
It really, yeah. But it's, I mean,
down
it's
out of Seven Tree, and it gets narrow and real shallow. So
yeah.
we don't get any power boats,
right,
other than when the water's way up.
Yeah. But it is a sizable piece of water if you're out there in a kayak. I mean, it's not small. You get out on it, and it's a good ways across it, you know.
But it's just beautiful on downstream.
Yeah, from there. That's one of my favorite pieces of river is from there down to the bridge and back. That's
what drew us to this piece of property was it's so much of this is just all resource protected land. And it's kind of like being backed up to the national park.
Yeah.
You don't have to own the whole thing. If you're next door, you can enjoy it.
All right. Sweet. You said something about a little woods cabin or something that you wanted to show?
Marion was a park ranger for 23 years, my wife.
Was she really?
She loves being out in nature, hikes and backpacks. And, we're going up to Baxter next week after the crowds leave.
Yeah.
The crowds there may be for Labor Day, but it just seemed we've got this. Yeah, I was getting ready to leave. I had to go back down to Tennessee, and I was going to be down there for probably 2 months. And this was when we first bought this property, and Marion said, would you make me something just in case something happened, and I'd have something that I know you made for me before you left. And I just carved her out a chair to sit on.
That's sweet.
And the woodpeckers have kind of gotten at it after.
That's kind of cool too.
Yeah. So anyway, we back at Christmas, she had asked about having a place to sit out in the woods and look out at the field, and this was pre-COVID, so I kind of mocked up a little model and had it wrapped up on Christmas morning, and she unwrapped it, and I said, we can change the details, but I said, I'm just telling you that as soon as I've got time, I'm going to build you the observation hut. Well, COVID came, and I suddenly had time, and I had to make good on it then. She, since we got everything done, she's been making paths, and I planed out some boards for her, and she made signs to go around, get from point A to point B. So again, she didn't need a great big space, but wanted it kind of elevated, and
yeah.
And hexagon kind of worked to create an interesting structure.
Right.
Made a burl doorknob.
This is awesome.
It's a good space for what she does, and it was fun building it for her. She loves nature and just always want to be out and be a part of it. So we made this to, it sticks a little bit. Clean that.
I had an idea of wanting to build something like this in my front yard at one time. Of course, it was an idea, and I never got around to it. I used to look at the one up on the common
Yep.
and think how cool it was, and my thinking a lot of things have changed since then, but at that time was to kind of have it sit down in the front of the house with a plank, not a pathway, but almost like a bridge to walk out to it, you know.
Right.
But then we bought property in Georgia, and I put up some buildings, and we did some different things, and got some porches and stuff. So I mean that went away, but the structure of how you build something like this was, you know, when you do a little woodworking, something sticks in your mind, and you try to build it in your mind,
Right.
and which is, you know, you've done what I was thinking about doing, because if you've never done one, you have no idea of how to make it all work.
It is fun to work out the puzzle of it.
Yeah. They build houses, you know, all straight and boxy, like for a reason, you know, and of course when you vary from that, you face the challenges of something new.
Well, you can see I don't guess there's a corner that's the same. It is a true hexagon, but figuring out how to get everything locked together with windowsills. Again, it was kind of fun. And
every bit of it's kind of fun, including the stool.
That was a piece of cherry burl that I've been working with burl a lot this winter. And this piece, she says, I'd sure like to have a bench to sit on out there. And so I'll see what I can come up with. So that was kind of fun. She traveled to Switzerland a couple of years ago and loved her time there. Has always loved the Alps. She, I think, her brother's named Peter, and she wished that her name had been Heidi. And she always loved the sound of music, and so the Edelweiss she painted those as kind of little personal embellishment on it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I try to keep her some flowers out here. I need to replace those.
It's a great place to sit.
It's a good spot, and
it's
amazing if you sit in the edge of the woods and you're quiet for 15 minutes. It's amazing what'll come out around you.
Yeah.
The deer from time to time come close, but the little creatures, squirrels, of course, but then you'll see voles and meadow mice, and we had an ermine, like a weasel, that came the other day. Marion last night was sitting out, had hoped to come down here, and she started out the door, and there was a skunk in the path. And so she came back laughing. She says, I think I'll just set up on the porch. Well, she sat on the porch for a little while, and then she heard something scurrying back at the edge of the porch step, and that skunk was coming up with her.
Coming to visit, coming to hang out.
So she sort of stood up, and it saw her and scurried off.
Yeah.
It's a great place. We feel real blessed to have found it.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing this.